Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Supply and Demand Mastery. I am Master Gordan. So today this topic is quite interesting. It's talking about the imbalance or fair value gap. So some of you might heard before what is imbalance. And for a new trader or any beginners, everyone should know what is this about, because this is a very crucial point that we know whether our supply and demand zone is strong or not. So what is the imbalance? Imbalance is a price generally drop sharply or push higher in unhealthy way. Then when the market try to pull back to fill the imbalance, here there is a lot of example that I'm going to show you later on. Of course, a lot of the people call it in different names like fair value gap, imbalance, or inefficient price action. But no matter what, the meaning is still the same. So what is the concept? So imbalance is formed or created by three consecutive candles, and between the first and the third candles there is a gap in between. So look at the first example right here. Between the K and H candles, there is a gap. For the first candles, the K candles low and the third candles high. When there is a gap, this is the imbalance we call. And the most importantly, when it is unmitigated, so this is one of the zone that we can monitor as well. Right, so we look at another example. Gap between A candles low and the N candles high, which already mitigated, so there is not imbalance between the A and N candles here. Right, let us see to the last candles right here. Last diagram, same diagram right here. For the K and the H, previously we know there is the imbalance in between. By the end, the price fill the gap. So when the price fill up the gap, then there is no imbalance anymore. Right, and when the price is coming again with a strong momentum between the A and the N candles, right? So usually the imbalance, it must be formed between the first candles low and to the third candles high. Right, this is the bearish example. So this is the bearish imbalance. So look at the bullish imbalance. So in bullish imbalance right here, yes, there is an imbalance between K and H candles, and which is unmitigated. And for the A and the N candle here, that is mitigated, so there is no gap, no imbalance. So for the second example here, before that we have the imbalance, but add up the market straight away fill the gap up and with a push another new higher high again, with another new imbalance in between the candles A and candles N, and this is unmitigated, so this is called imbalance. Right, so right now let us see the real life chart. So now let us look at the New Zealand dollars Japanese yen pair H1 chart. So as from the chart, as we can see, this is the downtrend, sideways and uptrend. So for here we have the fair value gap right here, right? Between the first and the third candles, there is a gap. Then create another new gap again between here. And we have another new gap again from here to here. Right, this is the bearish imbalance. There is a bearish imbalance. Let's see, first, second and third candle. So between the first and the third candle, there is the gap in between. So we know right here, this is one of opportunity for each of the fair value gap zone. But not every time the price it will immediately react and fill the gap. Always remember. And some of the traders they might take the imbalance of fair value gap as their entry zone. Alright, especially the ICT trader, inner circle trader. But for SMC trader, they will not take the imbalance as their entry zone. They are more prefer the supply and demand zone or the order block, right, as their entry zone, right? So when we here in between the sideways, there is no imbalance in between because for each candles you can see all is mitigated, right? And right here, this is the unmitigated imbalance, right? This imbalance was mitigated, and right here, in between, for this A, B, C candles, there is an imbalance as well, but has been filled up a partial half by these candles for this imbalance. Right. So personally, I will take the imbalance as one of my confluence or the confirmation. Right. I will not take the entry by using the imbalance. Right. I will more prefer the supply and demand zone as my entry zone. Right. But of course, this is up to you. But so what is the purpose of what we are looking at this kind of imbalance? Right. Because if a supply and demand zone that create with the imbalance, then there will be a good zone. Right, I repeat again. If there is a supply and demand zone that create or form the imbalance or the fair value gap, that will be a good zone. Right, this is another extra bonus how we can increase our win rate. This is just one of it. So in between right here, we have another imbalance in between these first and the third candles. Right, but this is just a very small gap in between. So when there is a gap, then right here, don't forget, right here we have our demand zone as well. Right, simply H1. Then I will take this as my H1 demand. So this is uptrend. So during the uptrend, we want to look for the long position or the buy trade. Then we are more prefer look for the zone that create the imbalance. Then be patient, wait for the retest to the zone. Then this is where we make our entry. Right, again, right here. So this zone has been mitigated. Right here, we have another new zone. Right, we have another new zone right here. So this demand zone also create the imbalance in between. So for me, this zone is a good zone. So as we can see, yes, the price sharp, very sharp sniper entry, touch the zone and fly. So right here, we have another new zone again here. Right. This zone also have created the imbalance. You see, this is the imbalance created after the demand zone right here. And create, and you can see the price react very well. Right, react very well. And we have a very good rejection again. And here, looks like we have a very strong rejection from the seller. So we have one of the supply zone here. And this supply zone, don't forget, this supply zone is there, is the imbalance. Right. The answer is yes. You see, once this is a rally base drop supply zone, and we have the imbalance forms after the supply zone. Right. So when the price falls back and retests to the supply, and most of the time it will react very well. You see the price react very well and break through even this demand, because this demand zone is not a fresh zone anymore. So when these orders inside the zone was collected after we have a strong rejection by the seller, then the trend looks like it's going to reverse, right? So when it reverse, same way again, we look for the bearish imbalance for the downtrend. So is there an imbalance between here? No, because here has been mitigated. Alright, so there's no imbalance. Here there's no imbalance as well. Here we have the imbalance finally, right? Right, here we have the imbalance finally. You see, first, second and third candles, we have formed another imbalance here. So yes, the price react to the imbalance here. Right, so against this is one of the supply zone right here, right? You can monitor. So sometimes you are able to get in higher time frame, but you can get in lower time frame, right? You see, lower time frame we have one of the zone hidden inside in lower time frame. So this is a M30 supply zone. Very obvious, right? This is the M30 supply zone here, and also another sharp entry with the imbalance, and continues again, right? We're back to our H1 chart and look for the imbalance. Right here we have another imbalance again, right? Imbalance form, but looks like this reaction is react from the imbalance. So sometimes it works, alright? Sometimes imbalance it will works before the zone, but sometimes it will not. But if you take the imbalance as our entry zone, the risk is higher, because your stop loss might getting higher or lower. So I personally more prefer to take the supply and demand zone as the entry. Right. Of course, in different time frame, we will have a different type of the imbalance or fair value gap as well. Right. Give you a hint. The higher the time frame, the attractive the imbalance or fair value gap. Because you have to understand the imbalance, it will attract the price move toward it to fill the gap up. So when there is an imbalance left behind, one day the price sure it will come back and fill up the gap. But the question is when. Then you have to look at the time frame. Right? Different time frame will have a different price value, fair value gap. So when we take the H1, so you can try and backtest your pair and try in different time frame as well. For sure you can gain a lot inside here. Right. So this is the example from this pair. So right here, this is also one of our example, very good sell zone. When you look at H4, right here we have the H4 supply zone. Right, this is the H4 supply zone with a rally base drop with the engulfing price action and with the price fair value gap imbalance in between. This is the H4 imbalance. So for H4 imbalance, then you know the zone will be more stronger, and with the price action as our confirmation, then when the price retest to the zone, this is where we can make the entry for the short. And where we can aim for the previous support or the next demand zone, right, to exit. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and please do follow and subscribe the channel and hit the likes button if you enjoy and learn something new from the video. Wish you all the best. Happy trading, happy profit, happy life. See you again in my next video. Bye bye.